So we're just gonna start now. Thank you. Welcome to the ConTechHQ Podcast, where we help contractors find the right construction software for their businesses. Each episode, we bring in a vendor from our ConTechHQ platform to give you an inside look at their solution, who it's built for, what makes it unique, and how it can help you work smarter. Today, we're joined by Casey and Erin from CrewTracks. Welcome to the show, guys. Can you please introduce yourselves formally, tell us your roles, and give us a short elevator pitch for CrewTracks software, who it's for, and the problem it solves?
Yeah, Erin, you want to go first?
Yep. My name is Erin Coates. I'm the marketing coordinator here at CrewTracks. CrewTracks is a field management software for construction. It ties the office and field together, communication, timesheets. Nothing gets lost or forgotten because of a piece of paper with our app.
Nice.
Yeah, Casey Black. I'm sales manager over here at CrewTracks, and just trying to simplify that process so that we're not losing anything. I'm taking away the paperwork and the guesswork out of where things are at from the office and the field, so everybody's up to date, being able to make real-time, proactive decisions rather than reactive decisions.
Exactly. I think that's super important, just like it's honestly the little things that make the most difference in like these things, right? Especially construction. You do not want to have like any mistakes at all. Okay, so we're just going to go to the next question real quick. Who is CrewTracks' ideal customer? In terms of company size, in terms of the challenges, in terms of pain points, what does CrewTracks do for the ideal customer?
Yeah, CrewTracks is really here to help anybody. I think that's the biggest thing. Anyone that has crews out in the field that they are tracking any sort of information for, we really want to try and help. From your ma and pa, just trying to make a good living, up to your corporate accounts that are producing millions and millions of dollars in revenue per year. We really want to try and find a solution that fits for both sides of the coin, right? So from CrewTracks side, the big thing is your pain points are going to change depending on your size. And that's what we really want to focus in on. Obviously, getting information from the field and back to the office is probably the biggest pain point that we help solve. Anywhere from your time, your production and quantities completed, to your equipment. And the big piece is your safety documentation, right? Making sure that everything is in one place so it's easy for the field, that they want to use it, right? It's not just some other thing that the company is asking them to do, but that it feels like a win for the field, and making it simple for the office to be able to get that information back to payroll, accounting, and run any reports that they need. So pain points are going to be all over the place. And I think that's what's so fun about construction in general, is no one faces the exact same issues at the exact same time. Right. So every call is different. And we really try to take that approach that we want to get CrewTracks implemented into your process, not your process fitting CrewTracks.
Right.
So you got a good solution that's going to scale up, is what you're saying.
Yeah. We really want to try and scale. And we see that a lot, right? These smaller companies that you hit a ceiling at one point when you're doing everything manually on paper. You hit a ceiling that you just don't have enough bandwidth to do all of it. So introducing a product like CrewTracks really helps bridge that gap and make it scalable, because we're getting this information real time and it's easily accessible.
Right. I love how that sounds, honestly. And we hear this with like a bunch of our clients. And what you said is super important. Like no client has the same pain points at the exact same time, and that is honestly like a great segue to my next question, and which is, your core strengths at CrewTracks, because you already mentioned that, your main clientele is anyone that has a crew, and like that needs to track like their progress and everything, right? So that is my next question. What would you say are your main strengths at CrewTracks? What makes your product, what makes your team what it is?
Yeah, I think there's a few that really stand out and that we continually hear. And in the construction industry, it's simplicity, right?
Hmm.
Everything needs to be really simple. We have these employees that are out in the field. They are great at what they do. I can't go up and do what they do, right? There's a reason that I'm in the office. And so we've tried to make sure that it is dead simple for the field to use first, because if it's not easy, garbage in, garbage out, right? So first and foremost, CrewTracks had to be simple, right? So simplicity is number one. And then number two, I think our team in general, the big thing that sets us apart, kind of talked about it earlier, is we really take a one-on-one approach. We want to make sure that CrewTracks fits your current process, is scalable in your company, and not just another tool to do something, right?
Yeah.
We really want to make sure that we can help you with your pain points and make it easy. And from there, we want to make sure that you have the information and you can trust the information. So we've really given you the access. We want to make sure that we can provide reports that you want to see, not reports that we think you want. And if it's not what you want, good luck, right? We really try to take that white glove approach to helping you see your data the way you want to see it.
I was going to introduce the next segment, but before we do that, Tim, do you have anything you?
Well, what you answered there was, making it simple. UX, UI. In the software world, we say UX being user experience and the user interface. And I like to dispel those myths of different terminologies for the construction folks out there. UX, UI, when you see people talking about that, that's what CrewTracks does. It's got good UX, UI, meaning it's easy to use and intuitive. Excellent. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Tim.
Tim, wonderful segue into the next segment, which is the demo. Casey, Erin, who's going to do the demo? It's just a quick showcase of the main features of the product and what you want clients to actually see and know about CrewTracks.
Yeah, that'll be me. Let me grab my iPad here and tee one up.
Okay, thanks, Casey. Do you want to go ahead and share your screen and we'll get into a demo?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Tim. So looking at CrewTracks, the biggest thing is wanting to put everything in one place for the field. So as we're getting everything back for the office. So as you're getting everything back from the field, I'm trying to make it simple for the office as well, right? So every day you come in, you're getting this filled out, whether you're getting it from an individual or a foreman for their crew. You actually get all of these under your schedules list page. So this allows you to see all of your information, quick snapshot of what happened for the day, right? So our clock in, clock out, offer photos for our clock in, clock out. You can see here, this company does not use our geofence or our facial recognition, but for companies that are diversified across multiple states and locations, really quick snapshot allows us to see that the guys it is who they say they are, number one, and then number two, that they're actually on site, right? Really being able to make sure that the correct work is being done. We can see any edits that are made, but really being able to check in where they were, what time they worked, and then the end of each day, really important, signing off for an injury status. So again, we're seeing exactly what's happening out in the field. And then we can get into being able to see this daily report, kind of gathering a lot of this similar information that we would probably see on current reports. What job did you work on and what items? How long did you work on each one of those codes? And I think the biggest thing that sets CrewTracks apart is the ease of use in production. I think this is something we always see we're bidding out our jobs. What we don't want to happen is we're bidding the jobs and we don't see where we're at real time and until the job is done post-mortem, right? Knowing if we made or lost money. And so here, under each cost code, we have the ability to set up a budget for our CMU. And out in the field, they can tell us exactly how much they've completed on a given day. So if I come in here and look, this is going to show me that I've completed 84% of my total install of CMU, and I've used 84% of my labor hours for that cost code. So really trying to make this very specific, very easy to see where we're at for the field, right? So now there's no questions, right? And so hopefully as the field sees that, they are making corrections as necessary, right? They know what needs to be done to catch back up. It's no longer the office telling us, hey, we're behind. We can see it now from a field perspective, right? We can get into the detail of our production efficiency, right? Based on our budget, we're actually behind on what they finished today, but as a whole, we were still on target. So we're going to see that.
Casey, I'm jumping in because I love that. Giving the crews and or foremen or people in the field the opportunity to see their efficiency and being able to incentivize them to meet targets and surpass targets. That's a huge opportunity for efficiency for sure. That's great.
Yeah, we see that a lot, right? No one wants to try and hit a moving target, especially if there's some sort of incentive on it, right? And so if we can allow the field to really own the job, that takes a lot of stress from the office to have to manage it. Really, that's the goal, is again, proactive rather than reactive decision making, because it's right in front of them, right? Yeah. So now we're seeing our efficiencies, tracking our equipment, materials, and then making it easy for them to put in their notes and photos on a given day. Okay. So a lot of flexibility in these daily reports that now we're seeing exactly what happened, when it happened, and we can sign off on that. Right. So that's probably the first place, is being able to go in, quickly see a crew and what they're doing. Right. That's one thing that our customers love. The other place we talk about being able to see these efficiencies, when you go into a job, here's all of our cost codes. So now, again, talking about bringing this in directly from a bid, we have all of our line items that are going to occur that we're tracking on each job. But here's this efficiency now at a job level. And so now we can see we're setting budgets and how it's completing against these budgets. Let me go to actual different job here.
That's great, because not only does it help, like I said, with incentivizing your crew, but also it helps you with your schedule of values, right?
That's the goal.
Interim billing. Yeah. Amazing. The layout's excellent. When you guys said it's really easily laid out, you weren't lying. The UX UI is fantastic.
And it's such a sales pitch, right? Everybody says it's easy to use, but when you continually hear it's easy to use and it's simple, I think that's the biggest compliment that we can get from one of our customers, is that it's easy, it's simple, and that the guys caught on to it really well.
Well, the layout and the use of colors and like that really makes like it digestible for those who aren't sitting at their desk all day staring at numbers. That's really great. I like that.
That's what we want to see. So now at a job level, when you talked about our schedule of values, if we're doing our progress billing, now we can see how many hours we've completed, what amount of install we've done, and we can make sure our progress billing is on track. And it's no longer a guess, right? We're seeing exactly what's happened on a job, and they can be with a quantity budget or a unit budget, or it could be labor only. being able to break that down. And this is where it comes into play that every company is different in how granular they want to track things. And we want to make sure that we can track things how you want, not forcing you to track things a specific way because of CrewTracks, right? And so this is great. Looking at it from an admin side is awesome. But now when you get over to the mobile app, this has to be just as easy to use. So now acting as a foreman, I can go in, I can have a schedule already on my day. If I have the address, we can get right to it. But now the process feels very similar to what people are used to in construction, right? I'm going to clock in at the beginning of the day. So we're going to put you right to our clock in page. And now these modules across the bottom can be accessed at any point. And so you can go through, it's not a big list that you have to scroll through to go to the next piece. If I want to look at my production, here is cost code that was on my day, and I can see exactly where we're at with my production for my block today, right? If I need to document anything, I can go directly to my notes and photos and I can document exactly what's happened. And in construction, and really almost any industry, the people with the most documentation win, right? If there is any sort of argument, any sort of disagreement, the people with the most documentation win. And so we're going to capture as many notes and photos as you'd like. And then we're also going to GPS stamp those notes or those photos so that we can pinpoint exactly these were taken on your job. This isn't a close-up of a different wall, different piece of cement somewhere else. This is your job. So as we go through here, again, trying to put everything in one place, clock in, assign our time, put in our production notes and photos. And then this document piece has probably been the most useful for our customers because this becomes the one-stop shop for everything that we need. So you can put employee documents. So these may be certifications or any documents that you need specific employees to fill out. You can have your job-specific documents with your plans. So now that it's all in one place and accessible, it feels like a win for the field, right? That they can go in.
Markup on there?
Yeah, you can mark up on here as well. You can mark up, you can measure, you can put notes on here.
Wow.
Everything accessible so that we're, again, that communication gap between the field to the office, we're trying to eliminate that. And then we have the ability to go in and make documents required. And so now on our toolbox talk, we can auto fill in our employees. We can add our employees. We can capture signatures. Everybody's process for our JSAs, JHAs, most companies already have a document. We're not making you transform that document into something that CrewTracks can use. We're going to take that document and we're going to make it fillable right here, right?
Wow.
Make it simple. Drop down, and it's going to autofill information for you.
Amazing.
So change order forms, how many people are losing money not capturing change orders correctly? So now we capture change orders directly through CrewTracks, capture a signature from our customer
On site.
And
in the time of, that's key.
And now we save it. One, that's already back to the office.
Love it.
But two, I can actually share this with my customer right here, right? They have already signed it. They know it. No more he said, she said at the end of the job with these changes that now put it into the red, right? So at the end of the day, we try to make this dead simple. There's certain requirements in here that, depending on what the office wants, when the field goes to submit, we're not trying to make them guess either, right? If they didn't complete something that's required, all they have to do is click view, and it takes them right back to what they need to do to complete that requirement. Okay, So really making sure that the office is getting the information they need, but also making it dead simple for the field to be able to complete those requirements.
Yeah, intuitive, and it walks them through the process. That's great.
Walk them through all of it. So those are the biggest pieces that we see. One, it's simple. Two, we want the insight to be readily available, right? And so you talk a little bit about your colors. We color coordinate a lot of things. You can do a lot of custom reports. So again, these options here are not native to CrewTracks. The job consolidation report, job visualization report, those are reports that we have created specifically for certain customers. And so we have the availability to create reports that each company wants because everybody wants to see their information differently.
Yep. Every company operates differently, different size, particularly when you talk about that breadth of going from mom and pop shop to enterprise, there's going to be a lot of differences. You want to touch on schedule? We have enough time. If you want to give us a little bit of insight over up there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So scheduling, again, one thing that we see is scheduling is different for everybody. And so within CrewTracks becomes a lot more of a, I'm going to call it a crew coordination that you can go in. And I'm looking at a schedules list page. You can see there's a scheduler, schedules by date, and a schedules list. I like living on a schedules list, looking at a day-to-day operation. So if I'm scheduling for today, we can add somebody. And what's nice is we give you the ability to template out crews. So if you're foreman and same employees, majority of the time are working together, we want to make it simple for the office and for the field. So we're going to say Brian's crew, and it automatically brings in my foreman and my 3 employees that are normally with them, right? Then 90% of these settings probably don't need to touch, right? But what it comes down to is coming to our jobs. And if this crew is always on this same job, month-long, 2-month-long job, we can automatically fill this in, or we can add other jobs directly to their schedule here. Okay, here's our cost codes. Again, those items that are specific to this job. And then anything that we want to change or look at, it gives us the ability to quickly give us a snapshot of where our production is at for this job and the items that are on their given day. Okay, so if we needed to change our expected efficiency or production, we can edit those knowing that we're a little bit behind or knowing that we have some weather coming up. We'd like to try and push them a little bit more to get further along. Great. We can edit those daily if necessary. But what's nice is down here at the very bottom, it allows us to put in any information that the field needs to know. Right? We have an inspector coming, whatever it is, specific deliveries. We can save this schedule. And now, not only is it available in the mobile app, but you can also send out notifications. You can send out a text with that information, and it goes to every single person on the crew. So again, bridging that gap of communication, office to field, field to office.
You're reading my mind. I was going to ask you how that information was distributed. Perfect. Yep. That's great.
Yeah. So again, mobile app, and it'll automatically show up. You can see your future schedules up to 30 days in advance as well. And so if you're just scheduling day out, because we know how reactive the construction industry is with everything that's going on, it's nice to be able to have control of today, make any edits as necessary, and send that message right to the field right away.
Fantastic. That so often when looking at websites for companies, software, different vendors, different softwares, and they talk about scheduling, and they're talking about for the GC and you know, Gantt charting everybody else, like who's, you know, what trades are coming when. No, scheduling to me is this, managing your crews, because if you have, well, I guarantee you that the huge percentage of contractors that have, whether doesn't matter if even it's 10 guys or, 200 staff or employees, that is a big part of their day-to-day, is juggling their crews, making sure they're going to the right site, because not all companies are always on one job site for months and months and months. They change every day, and being able to manage them really nimbly and scheduling that and getting that out quickly. I know companies that are working on, no offense to those companies, oh no, they're going to know I talked about them. They're working on Google Sheets.
Yeah.
And it's one way to manage it, but this is like, Google Sheets on steroids, but 10 times simpler. So I love that the interface. It speaks to me as far as being able to navigate, again, going to UX UI. So
yeah, Tim, you said something important there that I think is there's so much reactive scheduling that happens here, right? And I think that's one thing that people get scared of when they're looking at a software, especially for the use in the field, is the field doesn't want to feel like they're getting put in a corner, right? And the office doesn't want to take on one more responsibility to say, man, I just got a call. We need to go to this job. I have to go into whatever software it is, make the change so that it shows up in the app. One thing we've tried to make really simple is not only, again, from the office view, but if I get a phone call from the office that says, hey, Casey, I need you to go to a different job. We have an emergency. All I have to do is add that job to my day, right? Just like I would on a piece of paper or an Excel sheet. All I do is I say, I'm going to this job now. Boom, right? I don't have to have the office make that change for me, right? No one has time to get the call from the contractor, then call the field, then make the change in a software. No, here's the call. Let the field make the change, and it will show up on the daily report.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the usability in the field. Pull it out on your iPad. Never mind, you can even do it on your phone.
Yep.
It's laid out so simply and easily to manage. You don't need your laptop. You don't need to be at your desk. Let's make the changes from the field. That's great.
And if you don't have service, not a big deal. It's going to work offline, right? And if you don't have service, it'll show you this will turn orange. So again, talking about that color to try and help you see differences. And then it'll tell you what hasn't been synced, and it will sync automatically once it gets service. So again, making sure that the field doesn't have to worry about it.
Amazing. Great. That's a good feature. Okay. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to highlight? Well, we still, if you want to take the extra time, or if you got it all covered. Integrations, and is there anything there you wanted to give us insight on?
I think the biggest thing with integrations is we can work with almost anybody, okay, right? And so right now, getting information into your big QuickBooks, Computeries, Foundation, your large accounting systems, ERPs, not a big deal. Export out of CrewTracks, import into anything that you need, makes the flexibility there so that we can work with anybody, right? Yeah. You can pull it and push it when you have gone through and approved everything, not worrying about it, accidentally pushing payroll through when it hasn't been approved.
Okay, excellent. Okay, great.
Trying to think if there's anything else. Erin, is there anything else that I missed that you would touch on?
Not that I can think of. I think the message we really want to send is we empower the field and make the office staff's life easier. It's easier to run payroll. I mean, I can think of one of our customers saying payroll went from 4 days to 3 hours by using this, but it also empowers the field to take accountability, take ownership, know exactly what they need to do, can see what they need to do. And then the office can work on other things instead of spending 4 days on payroll. They can do whatever they need to and not feel like they're just bogged down with paperwork.
Nice. That was super informative. Super glad we're able to go through that demo. At least now we know what CrewTracks is about. Now we know your core strengths. We know who your target audience is. We know how you solve like the little things. We know how you address the pain points of customers. I guess my next and probably last question would be what to expect in, I would say, the coming year from CrewTracks. Are we your clients? Are we to expect anything new? Any new developments? If it's still in the works and you would rather not say, that's fine as well. But we would appreciate just like a little scoop or like an insight into what you're working on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with technology in general, everybody's hoping that they're continually growing and moving, right? And so CrewTracks is still in development. We're still working on new features and becoming better. And the way that we really focus on those features is feedback from our customers, right? That's how we've continued to grow and be successful. And so some of the big things that we have coming up this year, we already introduced AI directly into CrewTracks, first with our facial recognition. And so it's a big topic right now for everybody. So we'll continue to grow that. Our geofence capabilities will continue to get more notifications and abilities within the tracking there. And then our big piece that we're continually working on is our API and our direct integrations with the big users and big companies for accounting and ERP systems, right? In a day and age that the information is so readily available, we want it to talk to each other. And so that's what we're really focusing on over the next couple months, is being able to give a better user experience and the best user experience as possible to reconcile what is in one system and what you want to go into the other one. And it's not just a massive data dump one way and the other. We really want to give you control in what goes from one to the other, but again, make it simple.
Great.
So those are the big goals over the next couple months.
Sounds exciting. Super exciting stuff. We've had such a long and interesting conversation over the past, I would say, almost 40 minutes. But if there was one statement or just like a way that you would want to summarize your product, CrewTracks, to clients, what is one key takeaway about the product that you would want your clients to know? This is direct to either Casey or Erin, whoever wants to answer that.
Yeah, I think, again, the big thing is the simplicity. I know we've said it a lot, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't get you the information you need, because the guys don't get the information in there, or the office has a hard time navigating it, what good is it, right? And so we've really tried to focus in on that. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure that you guys, the construction companies that we work with, the companies that build and maintain our world, that they are successful, right? We want to be that partner to help them grow, to help them make money, and make sure that we're all being successful.
Amazing. Tim, anything?
I think your simplicity and your UX UI is top drawer. It's absolutely as good as it gets. There's you can't be beaten there. That's for sure. Like I said, I have I come from the field. I was in construction for a couple of decades, and the way things are laid out in CrewTracks is so easy to navigate, to understand. I really like it. It's a great product.
Thank you, Tim.
I know I've probably said this like a million times, but finally, where can clients find CrewTracks? Where, aside ConTechHQ, of course.
Yes, CrewTracks can be reached at crewtracks.com or our phone number 801-742-5555.
Great. I should probably memorize the ConTechHQ number as well.
It's taken me a while to do that, but the 4 5s at the end really help.
Right. I feel like my brain can only take one, and that's my phone number. Right? But yeah, super great conversation, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on the ConTechHQ podcast. Be sure to check us out at contechhq.com. Also, be sure to check out CrewTracks, that CrewTracks.com, right? Exactly. Great. Explore the solutions, explore what they have to offer. Thank you guys so much for your time. And if there's nothing else, Tim, Casey, Erin, nothing else?
Great conversation.
Okay.
Thanks very much, Casey and Erin. Great.
Thanks
Yeah,
for having me.
thank you guys for setting us up.